Even if you walk into some offices, sorry, you will find that there are those who are you are qualified than them, but they are holding higher positions because they know those who are handling the recruiting process, which is really a problem for us. And I think how the president can handle this is just create companies. There's no shortcut. The only way that you can help fight unemployment in our country is by creating companies and welcoming investors. As a country, we may not have the capacity maybe to create companies, which I know is also not true. We can really come up with companies of our own. We are producing a lot of cash crop that can really help us. For example, the sugar industry in the western region, the Nyanza, is not even doing well because there is no funding, and even if there was, but those who are handling it or those who are in control are not doing their job correctly. They are misusing the money, and also some are being ending in corrupt.
Good evening and good morning to those who are abroad. This is Kisumo TV, your number one TV station. Here we bring for you a lot of goods, politics, sermons, everything. We even handle some marital issues. If you have any comment, if you have any challenge, just put it in the comment section. Our number is there, our bio. You can reach us. So today we want to discuss something with Dennis. So Dennis, you can greet our viewers and you can tell us who you are.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kisumu Godfrey, for hosting me in Kisumu TV. And just want to give a introduction to myself. My name is Dennis Otieno, and I'm a student, a fourth year student at KSA University, pursuing Bachelor of Commerce Accounting. And Kisumu is my good friend, so we decided we may have some information. I'm also a YouTuber, and I run a YouTube channel by the name Danish Abucha JR. That is my score and YouTube, so you can also follow us there. We run a podcast where we give discussions of the most recent things and things that affect the youth, especially of my age group. So I'm very much grateful, Mr. Kisumu, for hosting me here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So what you know, Dennis, we were with him primary level, and we also met again. So, Brother Dennis, are you an activist?
As per se, I may not say I'm an activist, but given to what is taking place right now, I think every Kenyan is becoming politically active, and that is why we are being given the name activist. And the name activist is not a very good name, but instead we should replace it with could have been asking me, am I a responsible citizen? Because a responsible citizen is the one who will be trying to get to know what is taking place in their country in the better way. So I'm just a responsible citizen.
Yeah, thank you very much. So here there are some questions which I wrote down. Sorry, guys. There's a question which I wrote down. I think we will handle them one after the other. So question number one. How do you assess the performance of the newly appointed cabinet secretaries in terms of their ability to address Kenya's most pressing issues?
Okay, thank you very much for that very good question. And I think just to on how I can evaluate or the capability of the newly appointed cabinet secretaries, I may not expect much from them, being that they are politicians, and most of them, the places they have been appointed to handle, they are not technocrats of those particular fields. So if you take maybe, for example, somebody like Hali Asad Joe, is not having a background in mining or anything related to minerals, but he has been appointed that particular docket, and somebody like Opio Wanda is the same. So somebody who I may expect much from is John Badi, who for a very long time he has come out as an economist, and we are really looking forward to see how he's going to do his to run that particular docket. But for the rest, I don't think they are going to serve us better, because what really took place was not that they were qualified enough to hold those positions, but the president was just trying to see on in his closest circle who could serve them better. So I don't really expect much from them, but let us just wait and see. And also, it's not a must that somebody must be a technocrat in a particular field so that they may get to do some better jobs. I think that notion is also not true, but let us just wait and see. It's too early to judge. It's still in the morning, but let's just give them time. Yeah.
But talking on Ali Hassan Joe, Ali Hassan Joe has been a governor for 2 terms. And if we can check the background on how he managed to handle the issues in Mombasa, but he did well. So I think, in my opinion, he may also do well. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema kuna elimu ya maisha na elimu ya kitabu. Maybe yake ni ya maisha. Yeah.
So ni vizuri kutumia Mombasa County as reference, but I think that one may really not count, because we know that as a governor, the governor is having those who are called the county executive officers, those who are acting like the CS for the counties. So, and most of these people are the one who are helping the governor to implement his manifesto. But as I said, it's not a must that somebody must be a technocrat in a particular field. Just as you said, some people are just wise naturally. They must not maybe step into a classroom to prove how wise or knowledgeable they are. But I think as a country in Kenya, we are having those who are having both. So I think it would have been better if we settle for those who are having both. Those who are having, they have the knowledge, and also they have the wisdom. So maybe settling on Joe, I understand, because this is a political game. It must be played by political players. So that is why maybe the president settled on him. But I think there are more qualified Kenyans who can do that particular job apart from him. Yeah.
So on your view, but the Gen Z had agenda. Those people, they should go, but we are seeing President Ruto is bringing some back. And these people who are given chance, these are the politicians.
Yeah.
There are someone like Opio Wandai is an MP, meaning there will be an election in this area, and we don't have IBC. What can you talk about that?
I think that is one of the problems that is really affecting us, and also I think the major genesis of this problem is from our constitution, because the president himself is not restricted from the constitution on to what level he is supposed to do his appointments. There is nowhere in the constitution that is written that the president cannot appoint members of the opposition or members who are elected as are already elected to run for officers as either MCS, governors, or any other elected position. So that is why when the president did that, we had nothing to do but just to accept, and then we see they go through the rigorous progress of vetting in the National Assembly. But so now talking about elections, I think we'll just have to wait, because that is also a problem. If you can recall, recently there is a particular constituency where the MP died. I can't recall very well. The MP died, and up to now, there is no election that has taken place there. So, but having the president signed that particular IBC reforms into law, so we are expecting the constitution of the IBC. It was supposed to take in place in 90 days. So maybe probably by September, we are expecting a new IBC commission into place, and then we expect elections to take place in those particular constituencies. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So jumping to question number 2.
Yeah.
Can you provide example of how the opposition's involvement in the government might undermine or support the effectiveness of the newly appointed members?
Oh, that's a very good question, and I think one of one of the problems, I may say that opposition is not going to assist or maybe to support the effectiveness of the performance of the newly appointed cabinet secretary, because we know one of the major roles that the opposition is known for or is expected to have is to do check and balances in the government. But whatever we have experienced in our country is a the political scheme that has taken place, and the arrangement is that the opposition is in a particular way viewed as to have already joined the government. So you cannot you cannot how can I put this? But you cannot insult somebody who feeds you. Somebody who feeds you controls you. So that is why the opposition's role now is majorly going to be undermined. So I'm not expecting I'm not expecting the opposition involvement to check on whether the cabinet secretaries are performing better or not. But let us just maybe we may have a better Kenya following whatever has happened, and the GenZ are really advocating for a better Kenya. So it does not necessarily mean that when they join government, they will cease to do the opposition role. So let us just hope that they will continue to do the opposition role as expected of them, regardless of whether they have joined government or not. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I can check, nowadays I'm seeing people are saying that nowadays we don't have an opposition, but opposition are the GenZs.
Yeah, yeah.
And even Kalonzo Musyoka, we have seen it with Eugene Wamalo. They decided not to join the government. Do you think Kalonzo Musyoka can be strong opposition?
Kalonzo Musyoka cannot be he cannot offer a strong opposition, given the fact that opposition, majorly in Kenya, we know that the laws or legislation takes place in the parliament. And do you know, if I think if we count, we cannot even have 10 MPs that entered into the parliament with the party of Wiper. So that alone tells you that he's not even controlling maybe a quarter of the house, you see. So that leaves him with no option. Is just the minority in the office. So I don't think he can really offer that. And saying that GenZ are the official opposition, that's true. But again, GenZ, what maybe we really need to get, we cannot play the opposition role if we don't have a structure. We'll continue maybe just doing the activist part of maybe going for demonstrations. But when laws are maybe taken to the floor, we don't have a voice there. So that is why I'm always saying that as Gen Zs, I think it's time we think of maybe having some structure, a political structure, because these are political problems we are trying to talk about, and we cannot solve political problems without a political structure. Are you seeing? So we need to have a political, either political party, just a political structure, so that in case of anything, right now, I know it may take us maybe time to get that from, but with time, we should make sure that when it comes 2027, we already have a structure and we know that this is what we are going to do, this is what we expect. So come 27, maybe in the 14th parliament, at least we'll have a better control and do whatever policies that we may want to implement as a nation. Yeah.
But you talking of coming up with a party, we are seeing now there's a war in Gen Z whereby there are some people who oppose the other. What can you say about that?
So I think Gen Z movement, it was a very, very healthy movement before, and until people started saying that we should not have a leader. And I think nobody, even monkeys, they have leaders. So we cannot sit down as human beings and as educated as we are. We cannot say that we are going to remain leaderless for how long? Because the fact that we are leaderless, that is why even the president himself may not, at some point, he may not take us seriously. You see, because had it been that we had a leader or we had a structure right now, we could have proposed even 3 names to the president to be considered as cabinet secretaries. Because every time the president releases names of those who is think that are going to help him to achieve his goal for Kenya, what do Gen Z do? They oppose the entire list. And they oppose, but they don't give an alternative. Or say, Mr. President, we don't trust the people you have brought for us. So with our own conviction, we think that this person can help us run this particular docket. So kindly appoint them to these positions. But you see now we cannot do that because once somebody comes out and say, I'm offering myself as the leader of the GenZ, you can see the trust that they're facing online. I think that now that is where the GenZs are getting it wrong. And once we are having those infights within the movement, now no the trust game is over. And so we get to lose even focus because now if somebody starts thinking that Kisumu Godfrey is being paid, me I'm not being paid. So like now we are enemy of one another. So if I say something, you are saying no, you are saying that because you've been paid. If I don't say something again, you say I'm not talking because I've been paid. So I think we just need to get a structure and then we get to entrust ourselves within our structures. Yeah.
Yeah. So coming to question number 3, how do you propose addressing how do you propose addressing the concern you have with President Ruto's leadership while ensuring that the opposition remain constructive rather than purely obstructive?
Okay. So I think right now, or what we have seen, the opposition really tried to be obstructive on what we really wanted for Kenya, because the opposition came out clearly and said they need a negotiation or a dialogue. There should be a dialogue in the country so that when they get to move to have a better country and then the country to move forward, something like that. So I think the opposition are one of the persons who played a very, very big role in derailing the movement to achieve its goal. And so maybe just on how we can get to air our issues with the president. Number one, we need, just as I had said, we need a structure for us. We need to get somebody who can speak for us because all of us, we cannot fit in State House, and even the president cannot allow us to get to the State House. When the president visited X, for example, the X space, not everybody got to speak, and everybody was speaking something that they thought was for themselves, you see. So when somebody say, Mr. President, I was abducted, they tortured me, they did this, they did this. So you see, that is not, that you're just trying to solve your personal problem, but you are not solving a problem that is for people. But when we come together and then have a structure, we may even just have maybe 10 agendas. Then we say, these 10 agendas, Mr. President, number one, we want you to offer job opportunity for us. We want you to make sure that of your cabinet, at least there are 3 persons. Then like that. In your appointment, you need to see this, you need gender balance, something. So that is the only way. So the only way we have is when we have a political structure, because these are political things. If we don't have political structure, then most likely we will keep losing and losing and losing. So the only way is we need to have a leader, and then through the leader we tell Mr. President what we want. That is even, you see the NADCO report that was there. It is because not NASA, sorry, but the Azimio, they had a leader who was Raila Odinga, and through that they reached to a consensus on the issues they wanted the president to address. And that is when they started talking about that. But if we continue saying we are leaderless, I don't think we'll get somewhere. Yeah.
So jumping to another question.
Yeah.
How do you plan to work with or challenge the new cabinet secretaries to ensure that their actions align with the needs of the Kenyan people?
Yeah, so number one, the cabinet secretaries, the challenge they have, especially for the ones who have been reappointed, the challenge they are having is to prove to Kenyans that we really need to give people second chances, because somebody like Chumba Murkomen, for example, everybody was accusing him of always showing opulence to the people, and also maybe he was having some corrupt graft issues or something. But so as from their approval by the National Assembly, we expect them to take restraint measures upon themselves and to make sure that they are serving the country in the docket they have to the utmost level of integrity. So that is the only way that they may show us that they are doing the thing. And then those who are coming for the first time, that is those who are from the opposition and any other person like Eric Muribi is also joining us for the first time. What we expect from them is that they need to learn, because the disbandment of the cabinet was done because of the protest. So from the process, I need for now they know what is really expected of them, and to those who are from the opposition, now this is where the bigger problem and the higher expectation comes in, because it is always easy to criticize from outside, and now somebody like Mr. Mbadi, he has been always on TV trying to criticize the tax model that the president and his team were introducing before. And most surprisingly, is now the one who is heading that particular docket. So we are really looking forward to ensure that whatever he has always wanted, he makes sure that he implements them, and then we get to get a better Kenya and better services for all of us. Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. So another question. In what way do you think the opposition's criticism could influence the broader political climate in Kenya? And how do you balance this with the needs of the effective government?
Mhm. I think the opposition right now, as we say, is it is already dispersed, because we saw Martha Karua wrote a letter requesting, saying that her party, that is the NAC, was already out of the Azimio coalition. So that really tells you that there is already a problem in in that particular opposition party. And so, given that there is already a problem, now that the opposition role will be limited or will be undermined. And what we have to need to make peace with as Kenyans or any other person, that whatever we may want to do right now, we'll just have to wait until 2027. But for now, we just make sure, or we just request those who are already in position to make sure that they serve Kenyans with the utmost good faith, and we get that something that they really also feel is better if we have for us as a country. But right now, I think we'll just, for anything that we may really want to implement, I think we'll just do it after 2027. But for now, it's going to be quite hard, because the opposition is already disintegrated, and us, we may oppose, but we are opposing from outside. See, now that's the problem. But when we get to the table where implementation are taking place, we are not on the table. So it's implementation done by different people who we cannot control right now. We the only point we have to control them. We only control them during elections. But for now, let's just hope the best from them. Yeah.
Yeah, another question.
Mm.
How do you evaluate the government's approach to handling security concern, its impact on ordinary citizens?
That is also a major problem that we are having as a nation. Remember the other day when the deputy president came out and said that the national intelligence head by Nurdin Haji was misadvising the president. I think that alone was supposed to be a threat to us as ordinary citizens, because if the deputy president can come out and say such a thing, it tells us that we should not trust that particular intelligence anymore. Remember the other day, bodies were being retrieved from the quarry. People bodies are being stuck in sacks and then thrown into some dumping somewhere. So I think the government really needs to either they can disband that particular the intelligence, and then if they feel that those who are serving right now are not delivering to the task, Mr. President, I think he can recall them and maybe get some better appointments on those who are qualified enough. Because if we live in a country like this where things are happening, and we cannot even get to counter this particular thing. Just imagine simple protest, like how did the president not even get the intel that on 25th of June a very large crowd could enter into the CBD the other day. You see, now that's also another problem, because from the intelligence that they have, from the given the resources and the resources pumped in that particular department, it could have been really nice to make them aware or make them understand that on 25th we are expecting a very large crowd at the CBD, so we need to beef up our security even along Parliament. Had that happened, we would have not even lost lives during the protest. So I think the president should really think of that. And the security concern, because security, that is the bare minimum. Yeah, food, security, and shelter. That is the bare minimum that any other person should be having in this country. But if we get to miss on that, then there's no even need for us working hard as citizens. Because you work hard and then the following day, your body is found mutilated somewhere. You work hard and then you just get shot somewhere, you just get abducted. You see, now that's really a very big threat, and we cannot just let that go. So Mr. President should really check on that and ensure that those critical offices are held by the most competent person in the country. Yeah.
Another question.
Yes.
Do you believe the current leadership is adequately addressing the needs of marginalized community?
I think that is not true. That is not true at all. And why I'm saying that is even before the cabinet was sworn, the deputy president came out and said that the government is for shareholders. And we know that the marginalized communities can never come out and say that they are shareholders. Because now, like for a community like in Migori County, this tribe called the Kurias, like even in Migori County alone, they don't have a say. But at least what happens there's that power sharing, or maybe when the governor is coming from the Luo, they are being given the office of the deputy governor and maybe of the woman rep, senator, something like that. At least, and people from they are lenient enough to do that for them. But coming to government appointments, I don't think there is a pure representation for the marginalized group. And I think Mr. President should just try to consider, how can you, for example, people from Mount Kenya, they get a total of 8 slots of CS. Like, are they the most educated in the country? No. Are they offering the most competent person to those positions? Also, no. They only do that because they are the majority in having the highest number of voters. So I think we should not move with that as a notion on making the government appointment, because even in the marginal, there are even those who are having disability who are even learned than those who are even appointed the government. I think you are aware of that. Yeah. So I think we should not always use that as a yardstick to measure on those who are going to do appointments for the government. So I think any other person or in any other organization where you work, where you are, please consider if see somebody is disabled, just give him an equal chance, and make sure you put them into consideration that they also feel represented in the organization, in the government, or in any other place, in any other sphere of life. Yeah.
Oh, another question.
Yes.
How do you respond to criticism that some activists effects may let me come again.
Okay.
How do you respond to criticism that some activist efforts may inadequately extravagant by political divisions in Kenya? Like, for example, now we are now getting the activists from Luo Nyanza.
Yeah.
They are saying that they are no longer in Nini. They are no longer interested in
protest.
in protest. So
Yeah.
how do you feel?
I am really feeling bad that at this age in the 21st century, we are still aligned or still leaning on our on our tribal lines. You see, on our tribal poles. It is really wrong, and maybe for Luos or any other group coming out say that they are not going to to be active in Kenyan politics or criticizing the government because the government has appointed their so-called leaders into office. I think that is really wrong of us. And what I just want to tell people who are thinking in that line that we just need a Kenya for all of us. There's no when you are suffering or when there is a high price of fuel in Kisumu will not be of lower price than fuel in Nairobi, you see. And when the university school fees is high, it will not be cheaper for somebody from Kisumu that because you are called the Danish Otieno, now we are going to waiver for your fee because you are called Danish Otieno. But now because you are somebody when we are likely to hike your school fees. That is not what's going to happen. So I think we just need to have a reasoning voice, and let us always not have our tribal outfit to always be to override our thinking capacity. We just need to be factual in whatever you think and whatever you say. Don't be that now that Raila is now said that Ruto is good. I think Ruto is now good. No, what is your? It should always be on your own volition that if Ruto is wrong according to what you know, let him remain wrong until he rectifies whatever you feel that it was not rectified by then. But if we continue in this way, then we will continue maybe just having our country as a dump site for wrongdoings and corruption. Like I think that is one of the challenges we are having as a country, and it shouldn't be. So for those who maybe feel that the country is not at par yet, or the country has not reached where we wanted it to be, I think we can continue just with the civic education and just putting the government check and balances to make sure that everything is placed. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Another question. What specific form or inactive do you advocate for the improvement or for the to improve the Kenya's healthcare and education system?
For education system, I think number one, there's this kitty that is being run by the national government. It's called the CDF. I think this CDF, it should not be allowed to be given to MPs to run it. It should be something that given to the national government because bursary is being given by the national. There's bursary that's being given by the MP. There's bursary that's being given by the women rep. There's bursary being given by the governor
And MCA.
and MCA. So you see now these four persons are giving bursary to the same person. Are you seeing? So it's like I personally am being overrepresented in these particular places. But to your shock, if I can tell you, since I was born, I've only benefited bursary once in my life, and that's when I was in university, and it was for 5,000 shillings. So can you imagine the amount of money that I've used for me to benefit for only 5,000 shillings? So I think to make it fair enough, we should all get these things out, and then this money we just get pump it into the education sector, and then we make education free for everybody. So me, when I wake up, my job is just to be wake up, wash my face, and I go to school. I read, then I come back. That's the bare minimum that you should do. But because this particular CDF it has been a scheme for corruption, and that is why even MPs are running. Because you cannot tell me that somebody is earning maybe a gross salary of 1 million, and in a span of less than 2 years, he's already having a chopper. Some are even buying properties. Somebody's having lots of vehicles. So I think it's just a scheme of corruption, and we should just stop that. And coming to healthcare, I think at this particular time, we should not have Kenyans or any Kenyan complaining, whichever place where you are from, Lodwar, where you are from, Turkana, no Kenyan should be claiming of the healthcare services in this country. And I don't know whether it's limitation of resources or something, of which I feel is also not true, because Kenya we are really collecting a lot of taxes, and even the amount that is being given to this particular like the NAF, because somebody may be paying NAF for that time, but they really take time, or they may even pay that for their whole life, but they don't get ill or they don't get into some serious diseases that require a lot of amounts of money to treat. But then you find that when money is being allocated for drugs, but these drugs are not getting to those people. So just as I said, everything starts with us. Because even if you ask somebody, would you like to do? If I get to maybe if I become president, I'll just get to do this. If I'm allocated maybe that million, I take my share like 10%. The other day I saw somebody saying that even if you're stealing from the people, steal at least 3% and leave them with the rest. So like we should just have zero irregularities of handling of money, of public money. So with that, I think everything will just flow. We just need a working system, nothing more, just a working system. If I go to the hospital, I get the medics there because I'm paying for everything. Yeah. So we just need a working system, nothing much.
Yeah, so talking on NIF or NHIF,
Yes.
like for example, there was a time I went to the hospital because being I'm paying NHIF.
Yeah.
And they told me that the NHIF, they will only use 500 shillings.
Yeah.
So the rest I will use my own money. So
Hmm.
what can you tell President Ruto regarding that?
I think one of the reasons why they are always saying that they may cover only 500 and then the rest will have to cover for your own is because this money we are paying it to the government, but the government in return is not disbursing this money to the hospitals. That is why the hospitals themselves are afraid. You can remember the same is also happening even to universities. The government is saying that we are going to place students on the COOPS portal. We are being placed to a university, for example, you are being placed to KC or any other university in the Kenya. But the university is not receiving funds from the government. But every year, the government comes with a budget and the government collects taxes that are allocated to studies, to hospitals, or something. So I think it's just upon everything, the buck starts and ends with the government and a working system. If the government collects money for NIF, they're supposed to be dispersed to hospitals. Why they are telling you that? Because some of the drugs or most of the equipment they're going to use to treat that your particular disease, they are not government supported. It's something that the hospital itself had to get it from abroad. But when they get it in, they cannot just give you free treatment, and that's like it's a business sort of something. Even in the public hospitals, there are those who are there are those who are holding the hospital at hostages because the government is not providing facilities to those, and it's only for those who are in the ministry. The government may allocate money for those things to be purchased and to be provided in the hospitals, but who is handling them? They cannot do that. They take those things and then they appropriate them to their private hospital. So they will tell you, we cannot help you that. What we can do, the 500 is just for checking to tell you what is happening with you. But now beyond that, they will tell you, you move there, you take the diversion, you find hospital there, they will help you. Why do they know that that particular hospital is offering that service? Because they are the ones who are in charge of that particular hospital. So we just need we just need patriot persons in this public service. If not, then I think we continue to be fucked up as a country, and we really need to control that.
Yeah, so the last question.
Yes.
What are the most pressing issues currently facing Kenyans and how do you propose they should be addressed?
Okay, I think the list may be endless. We really have a lot of problems as a country, but one of the major problems is unemployment, especially for the youths. That is where the problem starts. And even one of the drivers of the recent protest is just because of unemployment. Because once you find somebody is studying, you graduate, you've already spent a lot of money in studies, and then now you have no place to work. But not that because these places are not there. They're there, but they are occupied by persons who are not supposed to be there. But even if they're supposed to be there, but then they're not appointed in the right way. Even if you walk into some offices, sorry, you will find that there are those who are you are qualified than them, but they are holding higher positions because they know those who are handling the recruiting process, which is really a problem for us. And I think how the president can handle this is just create companies. There's no shortcut. The only way that you can help fight unemployment in our country is by creating companies and welcoming investors. As a country, we may not have the capacity maybe to create companies, which I know is also not true. We can really come up with companies of our own. We are producing a lot of cash crop that can really help us. For example, the sugar industry in the western region, the Nyanza, is not even doing well because there is no funding, and even if there was, but those who are handling it or those who are in control are not doing their job correctly. They are misusing the money, and also some are being ending in corruption schemes. So I think that is one of the problems and how it can be solved. Just create companies and then get the young people employed in those particular companies. And at this particular time, everything is just moving in the virtual space. And I think what the president can do is just to make sure that there is an ample space for doing everything. You see, like they're see now, like we're just here using our own gadgets. The government did not help you buy these things. These are the things that you bought with your own money. But now, when once the government realizes that you are making money out of this, now the government wants to tax this particular service that you are doing, but the government did not help you. You see now, like if somebody studies something, for example, if I study, me, I'm an accountant by profession. If I study accounting, I've used the government resources. The teachers, the lecturers are being paid by the government. My education, part of it was sponsored by the government. If the government taxes me for that, I have no problem. But when somebody does content, when somebody does freelancing, the government has not taught me to do that. And the government has played no role, zero role, totally zero role. So I don't expect the government to continue making life hard for me while it's already hard and I've already maneuvered my way and find possible ways on how I can do what, on how I can solve this particular problem. So what the president can do is just offer an harmful and supporting environment by doing what? For those who are doing content, give them cheaper internet in the country. As I said that you are going to roll Wi-Fi across. You've not seen those Wi-Fi. Even if they are there, but they are not stable. Somebody have to resort to their own data bundles, or you have to have a private internet provider so that you may get your content rolling. So just an ample environment. Even to those who are doing business, even you see that like the county of Nairobi, those who are selling smokies and mayai, those are just doing the vending on the road, street vending, are going to pay 200 per day. Can you imagine? And but 200, you yourself you've not eaten, you've not even paid yourself. So are you saying that just I think I cannot continue with this anymore. So let me just close. So it's just the environment that the government needs to control. The next thing is corruption. That is really affecting us and derailing us as a country. Could have been far by now had it been that we are having the most competent and those who don't have integrity issues in office. Me, I just need a working system. Even we really need nothing much. Our problems can be solved 90% by competent persons and a working government. Corruption, that is something that is really rampant. But we can stop it. Why? Like me, I like something I like about the manifesto of the former presidential candidate, Professor George Wajakoya, was that once somebody has been convicted of corruption, let this person be hung in the public and people see on TV that is what will happen to you when you see public money. And I think when people see that that is what is likely to happen for me, I think nobody will ever steal public money again. Like even you see in places like Japan, if somebody feels that he has stolen public money or he has even involved in theft, the best he can do for him is just to commit suicide. Because the repercussions that are awaiting for him are even crueler than that. So I think those are some of the things that we need to do. And also, most importantly, security. We need to train our police on handling protesters. Because once we have the protest being allowed and being validated in the constitution, we need to have a way on how we are going to encounter it, and also how to identify or to identify majorly those who are infiltrating the protest. Because I may be peaceful as a protester. I go on the street, I'm very peaceful with my placard, with my whistle, with my handkerchief, and then there's somebody who has come majorly to loot somebody's property. So how will we help the police to identify such persons as protesters, and also how will the government deal with this person separately without including me as also part of the looters? Because now they are saying that the Gen Z protest was genuine but it has been invaded by goons. So why don't the government find a way on how they are going to deal with goons? Because once they acknowledge the right of protest in the constitution, then they need to have a way of also managing that. Because we cannot uh, like I think then, which also cannot happen. They should maybe then now do away that protest should not be a right anymore as a country, of which is not true. We really need to have that, because if that cannot happen, then we not get to air our problems, some of the dissatisfaction we have in this particular country. So we need to train our police more on that, and also the intelligence of the country. We really need to improve that. It is not just a threat, because right now we may be laughing as Gen Zs, that we are fooling the president and the national intelligence, that we may say that we are going for protest, but we are not going, something like that, until it will hit us when now we are on the receiving end. Because one day terrorists will come. You see, like what happened the Dusit Hotel, what happened at Westgate. Such thing can happen, and now we come on the receiving end. So what will really happen? It's now, oh, I think we really need to train our police more. Whatever we need to beef our national intelligence, but such like things or terrorist attacks may not happen to us. I think those are major things that are really affecting us. And as per now, tribal lines, that is something that is already fading, and I'm really grateful for that. Let's continue with that, and we look everybody equally, and yeah, we equally. Let's just dissect everybody equally. Not that when you see somebody, you see their name, you start saying, no, this is how you are viewing somebody. No, that's not right. So those are some of the challenges, and I think I've already given measures on how we can navigate through them. Yeah, and yeah, that one at least can tell us somewhere as a country.
Yeah, so if we can check, this is just a question which I don't want us to lead it.
Yeah,
By the time the Gen Z started protesting, it was very peaceful
yeah, sure.
until they invaded the parliament. So the first thing, they rejected finance bill until Mr. President agreed
Yeah,
not to sign it.
yes, yes.
Why would Gen Z hold on? They go step by step. Unajua hapa, if they want everything at once, president is just a human being.
Sure, sure.
So what can you tell this Gen Z on this matter so that they can just tell them, they can just tell the president to do things one after the other?
So personally, I'm a Gen Z, and I have also been publicly participating in the protest and actively as an active member. But what we are not getting right, or what we have been deluded to, that we are leaderless, I really don't think we are. I think there are some defunct leaders somewhere who are trying to use that particular position to manipulate the rest. Because had it been that we are leaderless, I could have been going to protest on Monday. Yeah, because I'm leaderless. Nobody is leading me. But how did we reach to a consensus that we'll be only doing protest on Tuesday and Wednesday? Who said so? And where are the posters coming from? You see now. So I think assuming or settling to the fact that we are leaderless, that is not true. And we have a leader somewhere who is hiding behind the scenes, or who doesn't want to be seen. The fact people argue that if we have a leader can be compromised. No, that's not true. We may have a leader who cannot be compromised still. How about that? And the fact that we are leaderless, that is why these things are happening. And once we had the finance bill rejected, we had the cabinet dissolved. I think it was time we had to take a break and say, let us take our wins and maybe give the president another time. And also another problem we are having, like we are not even giving the president timelines. If somebody fired the whole cabinet, he already withdrew our whole finance bill. Now we want him to go, and we know the consequences that once a president leaves office, it comes with. So I think maybe saying that we continue as leaderless is not right. And the demonstration being infiltrated, that is really, really right. And for anybody who might have taken place, whether the government or opposition, to invade the peaceful protest with the goons, that is not right. And that is also against our constitution. And we as Kenyans, we are really trying to protect our constitution. So I think we should just find ourselves a leader. And for now, let us take our wins and stay back. Whichever angle this fight has reached, it is not ours. And I think it has been infiltrated by, number one, those who need to settle political scores. There are those who maybe are not satisfied with Ruto's government or how Ruto is handling his government. So they are really taking the advantage of the GenZ movement to maybe kick the president out, of which I don't think is, because even me, I would like to be president, but I will not be a president where one day Kisumu Godfrey wakes up and says that I'm not satisfied with the Danish presidency. You say Danish now must go, and then the following day I'm leaving office. then you elect another president. After 1 month, we are not satisfied. You see, now will be living in a unstable nation. So we really need to to respect the presidency, even if you don't respect the person, but respect that office. So we need really to treat that office with that office with a lot of decorum and respect, so that we don't get into a lawless country. Because if once we have already lost respect for the presidency, I think we'll just be doomed as a nation, and nobody will take us seriously. And even for the, I think Gen Z, let us now give the president time. Once he has already got his cabinet appointed, let us give him maybe 6 months or something. We start talking about 2025. We say, Mr. President, it's half a month. I think it's enough maybe to at least see some changes in every docket of the government. We say, Mr. President, we gave you 6 months. This one has not been done. This has not been done. But if we continue this way, even as we are going to lose as a country. In as much as who is the president, even you may be living in a rental house, but when the house catches fire, you cannot accelerate the fire. You will have to find a way of putting out the fire, because you are equally benefiting from from that particular rental house. So right now, Kenya is for us all, but where it's going, it may not be really safe for us. We need to tone down and give the president time. Because if we say now Ruto is out, Gachagua will have to continue. And we know Mr. Gachagua is an ardent tribal trailer. We've seen that for a very long time. Mimi ni mtu ya mlima, mimi ni mtu ya mlima. So what does that mean? It's a tribalist. So when we give him time, at least me, I'm even comfortable with Ruto's president than Gachagua as a president. That is why I'm saying Ruto must go. I think I'll have to change my mind. I've always tried to say Ruto must go, but giving or thinking on what is going to have us with Gachagua as president, I'm not ready to have that. So let us just have Ruto and give him time. Give him time. And then maybe we see whether he's going to achieve that or not. And if maybe the dissatisfaction continues, we just have 2027. We have already occupied everywhere in this country. So what we need to occupy next, let us occupy the registration centers. After occupying the registration centers, we get our national IDs and the voting cards. After that, 2027, let us occupy the polling stations, and then we vote those who we really want to hold office, so that we may not be crying out again at this particular time. Yeah. So that is my thoughts.
Do you support former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga supporting President Ruto?
Raila, I think at some point, Raila is having a very, very valid point, but it's not that the point has come at the wrong time. You see, because as we all know, Raila has been fronted by Kenya as a candidate for the AU chairman. But as an AU chairman, from Kenya specifically, we could not expect Raila to say that let the protest continue, while he's advocating one of the roles of an African Union chairman is to ensure that there is peace across the country. So across the continent, sorry. We could not expect Raila to see Kenya move in that direction, and is seeking for that particular position. One of maybe those who will be doing the voting will ask themselves, you are saying that you are going to advocate for peace, but there's a situation in Kenya. What have you done? So I think now he has positioned himself in a better place to say, when there were problems in Kenya, I asked the government to engage through a dialogue and address the issues that are fronted by the young people, the Gen Z specifically. So I think Raila positioned himself in a better way, but as Gen Zs, and I think not all, but for those who really want Kenya to go down, or those who are not for the positive thing for the Gen Z movement, are the ones who are attacking Raila. Yeah, because had it not been that, I think Raila, everybody thinks, or myself, I think Raila was in the right position, but we don't understand him. And again, what now makes Raila that is because it is only the high-ranking members or the high-ranking leaders of ODM are the ones who have joined government. If you see Opiyo Wandayi, that's the minority leader, National Assembly from ODM. If you see Alia Sanjo, that's the deputy party leader of ODM. If you see Oparanya, the deputy party leader. If you see John Mbadi, the national chairman. So that is where now the dad gets Raila, because now it's like he was looking job majorly for his persons or his close associates, of which I think is not true, because he has also come out and said that he was not even aware of the appointments, which I think that one now is really a very big lie. Like that could not happen without Raila knowing. So the Apple now is really lying to us. So me, I think Raila is in a better position, and for me, I'm ready even to pick the three bullets. I know people will say why I'm talking like because I'm a Raila supporter. No, no, no. Before I say that Raila did the wrong thing, but he had to do it. And even he said that he better lose the AU than see Kenya move in that direction. Even me, I will go for that. Even if my parents are maybe having problems, if I find my one of my friends killing an enemy, I think that's not right, because everybody's life is equally important. We cannot say that now because it's my enemy, just kill him. I think that's not right. So Raila is in a better position, but us as young people, we are not getting to understand things in a very, very positive way. And I think that is the problem we are having in the movement even right now. Like, you must be pro people, or you must say what people want. If you have a different point, whether it's logical or not, then they are trying to give you insult. They are trying to throw insults at you. And I think for you to learn, especially listen to those who disagree with you. That is the when you will get to know. But if we continue maybe just listening to those who are with us on one side, then I think we may not move far. Yeah.
Mr. Dennis, question are very many, but this is the last question.
Also.
What do you expect from our members of parliament on vetting on this newly appointed CSS? And what can you tell them?
Yeah, so I think what the members of parliament need to do, because they know these people more than we do. They are having one of these people, they know their capabilities. When you are doing the vetting, kindly don't vet basing your judgments on the political party or the affiliation this person has. Kindly make sure you do a vigorous checking, vetting on the capabilities. Because once you pass this person through the system and is not ripe enough for this job, we are most likely to experience what happened on 25th June. So let them just exercise this authority with their full mandate, and let them not, even if it's bad, if somebody comes, stand on the floor of the house from ODM, please do. Don't say that this was once my party chairman. If you are doing that for Murkomen, don't do that because it is affiliated from the president's region. Just do it, do justice, and do justice to everybody. Yeah, I think that is my parting shot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bwana Dennis. To our viewers, this is called Dennis Otieno, and Dennis Otieno also have a YouTube channel. You can also go and join me there. We need your support. We are just using phone and this gadget. We are Gen Z, but we have no job. So if you support us by subscribing, you share, you watch, there at least we will give you these ideas of Gen Z. We will go to street so that we can, if we see your effort of subscribing, we will go and bring for you various news from what? From Gen Z. And thank you very much. This is one word for our viewers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kisumu Godfrey, once again for hosting me here. And to those who are in this particular family, continue supporting Mr. Kisumu. And in case you are watching this for the first time, kindly support him by subscribing. Because through your subscription, that is when he gets more engagements. You may not get to support him financially, but at least if you subscribe, his engagements will go up. And this particular information, we need to propel this information across Kenya. And this one starts with civic education. So Mr. Kisumu here will be working with this particular gadget to Kisumu, to Siaya, to Mombasa, but he cannot do that without support. So kindly continue giving him support so that he may spread the good word. And also to my YouTube channel, as I said before, I have a YouTube channel by the name Dennis Abuja Jr. I talk about politics, religion, sports, and any other issue that is affecting Kenyans at large. So kindly visit our YouTube channel. I think Mr. Kisumo will put the link on the description. Click on the link, follow us, and then we get to have more engagements through this space. So Mr. Kisumu and the entire family, thank you for hosting me, and I'm hoping to continue having more of these discussions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.